Hi, I'm Brian with AM Leonard, and just wanted to go over a quick how-to on setting screed rails using a laser level. So this is a key part in the installation of a paver patio. This process is going to save you a ton of time, and you're going to know the pitch of the patio. You're going to know that you have the water moving in the right direction away from the house. So first thing, you've already done your homework on where you want your finished paver height to be. If you have a surface like this on the outside of the house, we were working with right here and the siding. We definitely want the pavers to be, the top of the pavers to be below that, and leave a little bit of a gap, like about a finger's thickness gap, just so freeze thaw doesn't push up against the house and pop stuff off. So that's key. So we figured that out. We figured our finished paver height, and we set this side of the screed rails already, and just wanted to share with you a little how-to on this process and how to utilize a laser level like this to set the elevations on the screed rail. So all you have to do is place your straight edge on the rails and scoop it backwards. So I really like using a laser for this. We have Stabila's, we offer Stabila's green beam, the LAR 160 laser level, and we've had great luck with it. The green beam laser it's very versatile with its indoor applications as well. You can see the green beam visually inside a house if you're working inside, and then outside it has the same applications. It reads the same distances as a red beam. We're gonna set this next rail. It's already set actually, but we're gonna show you a little bit of detail on eventually where you wanna get to elevation wise. So when you hear the solid tone in there, and that's right on top of the rail, so we're getting a solid tone. So that measurement is at 3, 4 1/4. Now we're gonna figure our fall. If you have a standard outdoor surface fall, you're shooting for anything between 1/4 of an inch per foot. So if you come out 4 feet from that point, you're gonna be 1 inch lower. We're using 1/8 of an inch per foot of fall. So at 8 feet out from the start of the house, we're gonna be 1 inch lower. And 1/8 of an inch per foot of fall is more gradual. It's not as steep of a pitch. So since we're using pavers, 1/8 of an inch per foot of fall is fine. So we're gonna show you how we got there. We made a mark on our rail at 8 feet. So if I move this up on the stick to 3, so from 3, 4 1/4 to 3, 5 1/4, it should tell us that we have the proper amount of fall. Get your straight edge. And this is how you get a nice smooth surface, so you're not having to, we hear a lot of guys say that they need to check each paver as they're laying it, and that's just not efficient. So this has been a huge takeaway for the landscapers that are looking to bridge the gap between just general landscaping services and really get into installing patios. Understanding this step is huge, because once you get the bedding layer prepared, all you have to do is just take off laying pavers. Just kind of spread your material around evenly. You can use up to 2 inches of the bedding layer. So you'll use a crushed granular or crushed limestone aggregate for the base, and then you're coming in with a bedding layer on top. You don't have to be as precise with that. Just you want it to be even, and then you can come in with 1 inch to 2 inches of this bedding layer and really get your surface set exactly where you want it. So for this patio, we're going about 12 feet out from the house. So these are 10-foot rails, so I'm just gonna scoot them and really not try to disturb the pitch of their rails at all, but I'm just scooting them out away from the house. So right there, we've got the about 12 feet, a little bit over 12 feet. I think we dug out a foot over 12 feet, so it's about 13 feet out from the house. Now we're gonna leapfrog our rails. So I can pick one up. We're gonna come over here with it. It's important to check with your straight edge that you're gonna be able to reach to the next one. So we have a couple inches on either side of each of these rails. And now we're gonna show you from scratch. We'll show you how to set this rail from scratch. Okay, we got our rail on the other side. We're gonna show you how to shoot this rail in and set this rail from scratch. So we had moved up on the stick, which is down on our elevation, to set the other end of that rail. So we're gonna go back to our first elevation. I made a little mark where we want the top end of the rail to sit at. So at 3 foot 4 1/4, I'm gonna cinch that in. And then we're just gonna see about where that lands us. So it's telling us we need to move the rail down. Again, using the laser, going where it tells us. So I went quite a bit farther down there. Still telling us that we need to go down. And we already had some of this gravel piled out in certain places where we knew about where the rail was going to land. So there I went about a 1/2 inch lower. So right where we need to be. So if we want to be an inch lower at this 8 foot mark right here, made a little mark so it's easy for you guys to see. So we're going to from 3 foot 4 1/4 to 3 foot 5 1/4. It's telling us we need to go down a little bit. And it is easy, just throw the rail on top of the 9s and trying not to, move it too much up at the top end. We're just kind of working the rail down into the gravel. And you can tilt the stick. You try to hold it plumb, but you can tilt it to get a feel for about how much you need to adjust. So this is gonna sit just about right on top of our base gravel. Good. It is good practice to come up and check that you didn't move the top half too much, the top part of the rail too much. Because you do, once you get these set, you don't want to hopefully step on them or move them too much. So we're good. So that's how you set a rail from scratch. Now again, we kind of already spread out the 9s in here, so all we got to do is grab our straight edge, and we're moving right along with creating a smooth bed of gravel to lay the pavers on top of. All right, so we leapfrogged our way over here with the screed rails and have the area nice and ready to lay pavers. Last thing you do, you just go around, pick up your screed rails, picking them up as you go, and you can see it leaves a little bit of a void in the bedding layer. So you can do this as you go, because you don't want to try not to step on the surface. You can walk on it if you need to, but if you want to keep it really level and not disturb any of the bedding layer, you can just start laying pavers. We're going to lay it from that corner, and as we come out as we lay the pattern this way, we can fill these gaps in as we go. So we're just going to fill in where the rails were. And you can come back even with a broom if you wanted to, or any kind of straight edge, and just smooth it back over. We're going to use our float and just smooth it back out. And now we're ready to start laying pavers.